Hey folks, welcome back to another Poem Masters video, and today with the year ending, I thought we'd do a video looking back at the game in 2022 and see how it was. In its third year, Poem Masters had a lot of massive updates throughout the year on the meta side. We were introduced to zones and rebuffs. Story-wise, we got 4 different villain arcs, and obviously the biggest surprise of them all, Ash Ketchum joining the game for only, I think, the second time ever in a Pokemon game, officially, right? Rip the King, by the way. Anyways, let's start from the first update of the year, which started the entire year off with a bang when they dropped New Year's Sabrina. I mean, Sinks or Renegade Cynthia, but you know, New Year's Sabrina was cool too. Renegade Cynthia and Giratina changed everything when she dropped. She was the first ever zone setting unit in the game, which was very much needed because types like Fire, Water, Psychic, etc. had way too much an advantage over all the other types due to the weather and terrain 1.5 times boost they gave to their respective types, which meant all other types in the game just inherently lacked a huge chunk of damage in comparison, but it also made some of the units in those types kind of restricted. Like, it sometimes would have lower stats for water or fire type units to sort of balance it out a bit, like, you know, Archie Kyogre in 2021, right? This immediately brought ghost types from being a pretty bad type overall to one of the strongest types in the game. Especially, you know, the Anniversary Lily and Renegade Cynthia combo, which was really nice, since folks were kind of disappointed with the Annie Lily when she first dropped during the second year anniversary due to her rather lackluster damage in comparison to some other contemporary damage dealers like Leer or Groudon.
This should be good.
Here we go.
After that, we got the 2 New Year's units, Sabrina and Volkner, which was a highlight of my year personally. Sabrina brought a new dimension to supports, since she was the first support to ever buff physical and special move up next. After the Renegade Cynthia prelude, we got into the actual Sinnoh villain arc, which at the time was very much needed since Sinnoh was one of the weakest regions in the game. Like, their best damage dealer was the free Cyrus Palkia, and they only had 1 5-star support, I believe, which was like Dawn and Torterra, but damn, this villain arc do them wonders. Look at the units they dropped. Just in part 1, we got Renegade Cynthia along with Lucas Daaga. That's, you know, 2 of the top units in the game, straight up, right? And, you know, Lucas still very powerful, one of the best zone setters, right? You know, not easy, top 3 zone setters in the game at the moment. And along with New Year's Volkner, who was clearly the best electric type damage dealer at the time, though not a Sinnoh villain arc unit specifically, but it was still Sinnoh, right? They dropped in the same month, so I'm counting that. And you also get the 6-star EX for Cyrus and Palkia, which was nice, but the big boost was still yet to come. The story itself I won't spoil if you haven't seen it yet, but it was good, so watch it. They also did add the Galactic admin models along with the Looker models, so which will become more relevant in the later on this year, so wait for that one. Gameplay-wise, maybe the biggest thing this update was the addition of the new game mode, the Legendary Gauntlet. The Legendary Gauntlet is basically 3 legendary arenas slapped together, and you have to beat them over and over again for win streak rewards. As a recent victim of a 100 gauntlet streak, I could definitely tell you that thing is a grind, and probably the hardest game mode in the game at the moment if you're trying to go for some crazy high win streak. So, moving on into February, we got the second part of the Sinnoh villain arc, but before that, Palentines 2022 dropped as well. And these 2 Palentine units were something to behold, man. Right after they introduced zones with Renegade Cynthia last month, they dropped another one on us with Palentine's Marnie and Mega Mawile Steel Zone, and oh boy, was Mega Mawile good, man. Her nuke, her debuffs, her flinches, buffs, all that made an insane partner with many steel units that need a lot of what she offered, like Kimono Grimsley and many other, you know, plenty physical steel damage dealers like Steven, Gloria, Solgaleo, and such. V was nice too with the hail, very good flinches, heals, buff, physical move up next as well, right, and fantastic support for the new Legendary Gauntlet mode. So, the main event this month, part 2 of the Sinnoh villain arc. We got some really powerful units with Cresselia along with Singsu Cyrus and Darkrai. Singsu Dawn really does so much as a support, a great tank with defense buffs that could also buff crit, give special up, you know, next. heal damage guard, also gets gauges, heals teammates, cures everything on sync, on top of probably your most broken part of her kit, which is the massive sync move countdown turn skips. Cyrus, on the other hand, another AoE sleep unit with a very, very good nuke and DPS, while also giving Dark Zone, which makes units like Marnie go crazy in the zone. And we also got our first ever power boost for a legendary unit that didn't have a mega to boost into. So Cyrus got expanded nodes instead, which could be arguably even better than the mega power boost, making his dragon type damage much better, because before that he was, even though he's a main dragon type, most people use him for his water damage. Since he's so much stronger there, it's not even close, right? During this month, he also reran the first villain arc, the Kanto one, and dropped a new free-to-play event unit and blew an Arcanine, which was slightly surprising. The unit itself is alright of a damage dealer on type, though nothing too special. It's a pretty crowded type after all, to be fair. But don't let all that stuff overshadow the biggest update here, the Jukebox. And Poem Masters, like, they always had banger soundtracks with their original compositions and remixes, so the ability to collect songs and play them in any stage you want is always super cool and incredibly underrated feature they added this year. On top of that, this update they did also add a new gem completion package for the main story and champion stadium, which is a lot of free gems and paid ones, but also they added a new tutorial mode for the champion stadium called the Victory Road, which after you completed it, they let you choose one of the OG Sing Su Kanto Trio Red Blue Leafs units for free, which is pretty cool in my opinion.
Starting tomorrow, May and Latias arrive, with May in a special outfit. Skyla and Tornadus also debut, with Skyla in a special outfit. You'll also be seeing Raihan and Flygon, with Raihan in a special outfit.
So after February, which was a pretty huge month as well, the Poem Masters hype train hits no brakes, because we immediately jumped into the 2.5 year anniversary. With the 3 initial Annie units, along with a bit of a hidden anniversary unit they had waited until the second half of the month to reveal, we got the first reveals for Anniversary May, Megalodios, and Annie Skyla and Tornadus, along with Annie Raihan and Dynamax Flygon, all 3 of them tech, by the way, which is slightly funny, but techs are just really good. What can you do? So Annie May was a massive special attack debuffer that set Psychic Terrain along with team special attack buffs, Sync Move Countdown, a big nuke, and free move next on her Miss Ball and Psychic Terrain. And as good as she was at the time, DNA did leave some hints in her grid of a potential partner who may have a signature move the opposite of hers that they could debuff special defense to unlock all her multipliers and make her even more insane than she already is. Annie Skyla was a bit of a weird one. She had a lot of really good things going for her, right? Team flinches are really good, the speed buffs, very powerful nuke, some mini potions, and obviously Flying Zone, which units like Annie Steven, yours Lance, Lysander, Blue, all of them were desperately looking forward to pairing up with. Though folks were kind of disappointed in her personal DPS, considering the 3 zone units we just got were all great zone supports that also did good personal DPS. Skyla was kind of new in that sense. It was probably an answer they gave to the Anniversary Steven complaints about his nuke being so bad, so they dropped the unit that nukes well to pair with them, but like that's not really Annie Steven's actual issue. His DPS is also not crazy good. Plus, it still doesn't, give him an excuse to use his mega, so yeah, whatever. Anyways. Raihan, a bit of a hidden gem, honestly. People kind of forget about this unit, but he's really nice, man. He could set Sand or Sun, give special move up next, super effective up next, flinch, and a lot of really cool stuff. Honestly, he seems more like a support when you actually run him in teams, but yeah, he does have a really, really big nuke to not make him, a sport. Plus, he's literally not a sport. They also had these weird battle rewind challenges, which were cute. Some throwbacks to older battles like the Stephen Lance Cynthia Triple Champion battle from the first anniversary. There's also some weird, random Charming Pals event thing where it was just a bunch of guys and you battle them and get tickets and stuff. I don't know. Free rewards, always good. The second half of the anniversary, which had the unit they were desperately trying to hide, Sing Suit Serena and Zygarde.
Pokemon and I will show you what makes us special.
If you guys remember what they did in terms of the social media campaign, they were asking folks on Twitter to find all the Zygarde cells in their trailer and tweet them out for rewards and stuff, which that was really, really fun. But yeah, Sing Su Serena was huge. With Lucas just last month with Dragon Zone, it made Sing Su Serena instantly the best damage dealer in the game by far, and was the best for quite a while there. There's nothing too much to talk about in terms of her kit. I mean, she's a striker, she comes in, does big damage, and leaves. Striker. Now we get to April. Finally a bit of a break from the insane start of the year, which isn't uncommon after anniversaries. This month, as the teaser teased, we got a completely new special costume event that replaced the spring seasonals. This time, an Alice in Wonderland sort of themed event with this tea party and everyone dressed up like the characters in the story and such. We had this new sort of riddle event. We had the daily stages where they give out riddles and you have to complete them with a certain character and stuff to solve riddles, which is kind of cool and new. As for the special costume event, it was definitely a bit of a down month. People were not happy at all. Lily getting another ult, even though, to be fair, Lily isn't even the unit with the most ult, but the unit itself was good though. Special costume of Lily is great max crit and special attack support, and a special tank as well that could activate a lot of random effects, like Ghost Zone. Also had potions. Not that she's like a really reliable Ghost Zone unit, but still, it's slightly funny. It's like 5% chance or something to activate it. Sonya was a defense debuffing grass type physical striker, which was decent at the time, but clearly had another level to get to in the very near future. Then we had the ults for the Train Bros, which, just like the original units, work very, very well together. Ingo setting up Bug Zone, debuffing physical defense for Emmet, physical Bug Striker to go ham, and then SC Ingo was a pretty stark example of probably our first zone setter that didn't really work super well with most of the units it's supposed to help. Most 5-star, the big bug damage heals are almost all special, and he's the physical debuffer, so that kind of sucked. But again, works very, very well with his twin, so there's that at least. After that bit of a down month, right, we were in it again, first with a 40 million download celebration rally, which, among other things, gives a lot of free gems, which is always appreciated. When the trailer rolled around, oh boy, we were in for another ride.
The sparkling hues of a morning sunrise sure are breathtaking, aren't they? Our future lies in this new power.
We were getting our next villain arc, and right after Sinnoh, which was probably the second most down bad region in the game, we got the VA for the absolutely most down bad region, Johto. And this kicked off with a prelude featuring Singsu Morty and Shiny Ho, and got his own sort of story before the actual Johto villain arc, right? But yeah, this is just a really, really good support, man. Fantastic tank with, what, 362 or something on both defenses and almost 800 HP. On top of constant team heals and sun, got potion, defense buff, so it's also a sunsetting support. And one of the top gauge units in the game, right? Definitely a unit that has aged very, very, very well looking back. This month was also the month we got the Sinnoh Champion Stadium, which at the time was the hardest Champion Stadium we had, with, Aaron healing up 1 billion damage, surprising a lot of people. But that was also the month where Sinnoh got even more help, with 3 spotlights in a row in Bertha Hippowdon, Lucian Drafferig, and Aaron Vespiquen, which all 3 are really, really, really nice units to have in the general pool. Aaron being an amazing max physical support, Lucian is a great, crazy, strong gauge unit, debuffer, and nuker, and Bertha, general 5-star sand setter that also has a really, really nice ground nuke as well. After that, we got a bit of a random but very good and fun social media community event where they got everyone to hatch Magikarps. And we got some really, really nice rewards for how many Magikarps everyone hatched. And speaking of, those egg Magikarps were all really, really nice, man. The support one, the tech and striker, all of them had Chinese forms and they were all really, really decent. The support one was a crit buffer, the tech one set rain, right, and then the striker one was a really, really powerful water type damage healer.
Perfect. One day the entire world will be under my control. Shall we begin? Time for action.
At the end of the month, we got our big hitter, the part 1 of the Johto villain arc with Singsu Giovanni and Dynamax Nidoking to lead the charge. Singsu Giovanni was kind of like a gift to the player base, because a lot of people were down bad on ground and poison type, and Giovanni did both of those, along with steel type too, if anyone cares. He's low-key one of the strongest steel type DPSs in the game as well, but people don't really talk about that. But it was especially nice since he's a main ground type. And Poison doesn't have Nuke, but to make up for that, he does also have a max move for Poison, which is very, very powerful, and he's still the best Poison DPS till this day, and we also got the Silver 6R EX as well, which is really neat since he always has to sync when he's on a team. He set Sun, so yeah, pretty massive month.
See how good you are. Let's do this. Go for it. Yeah. Ready. My turn.
However, the next month was even massiver. Massiver? Is that a word? Probably not. But yeah, holy crap, this was a huge month. When they dropped the trailer on us, right? Singsu, Ethan, and Lugia Master Fair. Singsu, Lyra, and Celebi Master Fair. Singsu, Chris, and Suicune Master Fair. Easily one of the craziest moments in Pokemon Masters EX. All three of them insanely good. They look good, have cool and fitting legendary sync fair partners. We had Lugia with Johto Spirit, AoE no split damage, flying type DPS, Striker Nuker, right? Singsu Chris, which is just one of the best sports in the game, easily, right? Buffing special attack and defenses and crit with rain setting, right? Johto Flag there, and special move up next on her training move and rain as well. Just an unreal unit. And speaking of unreal units, one of the most broken units in the game, Singsu, Lyra, and Celebi. 100% chance flinch. 100% chance flinch, man. That's all I gotta say. Like, she completely dog walks like more than half of the legendary arenas. On top of having great nuke, solid, DPS, hell debuffs, Johto Pride, and also guarantees trap and fusion, which is the same passive as the flinch one, but not as crazy, so we didn't mention it earlier. But yeah, the second big thing on her, right? Remember when we were talking how great, special costume Sonya was, right? But she was good, but she wasn't quite there yet, right? She was missing one thing that was supposedly coming in the near future to elevate her to a top tier striker. Well, there it is, folks. Grassy terrain, which is huge because the amount and quality of existing grass type damagers like that, SC Sonya, Singsu Erica, Brendan even, right? Maxi Silver with Solar Beam, Singsu Leaf. Sufficient to say, the Johto Master Fair Trio was quite the success. Speaking of Solar Beam Silver, we also got a power boost for him. Similar to Cyrus, he got that extra grid nodes, and boy are they nice. A lot of self buffs, which he really needed, but also some extra nuke stuff too. He's really, really good, man. Also, for some reason, in the middle of this insanely hyped Johto Vanilla Arc month, we also got a Beef Poke Fair, which was slightly funny. Like, Man came in with some, rival story arc, which saw the inclusion of guys like Hugh as story-only characters. Not summonable, but, solid unit, though. Nice debuffer, Psychic Train, Sunsetter, and all that, but yeah, just slightly random, I guess. After that month, we did get a bit of a breather in terms of, hype story stuff or whatever, though no means were they weak units, because we got some insanely powerful units that just came at a bad time. Sadly, that month was in between, two villain arcs, and also very close to 30-year anniversary. So they started this month off with the usual summer event with Summer N and Zoroark, and Hilda Shiny Grapplock. N was a great Dark-type DPS, right? Hilda was an alright support, though at the time it was kind of whatever for a unit released in 2022, but things got better for her later on, and they released, much worse units. So she's alright, I guess. In the middle of the month, we got an insane drop, probably the most surprising thing they've done so far, which was have an Ash and Pikachu story event. He wasn't summonable at the time yet, but it was a story event where Ash came to Passio and had some battles with some of the cast, so yeah, small event, huge implications. After that, we got two insanely powerful Pokefairs, which again, timing-wise, really bad, but the units were crazy good. Dojo Galar with G-Max Rapid Strike Urshifu, and Singsu Karina with Marshadow. They did some kind of dojo event, which makes sense for them both, I guess, right? But yeah, Dojo Galar is an insane unit, man. -3 defense and speed on every hit, a crazy DPS and nuke on top of having a strong max move and also steel type coverage. Singsu Karina, on the other hand, easily the strongest ghost type damage dealer with a Leer-esque nuke, right? Her buff stealing is all really nice for stages like Latios or Cresselia. They also had a Tyrogue egg raising event, which was really neat, kind of like the Magikarp one. Not as hype, but still some nice shiny Tyrogue evolutions that were all pretty powerful in Eggmon standards at least. So yeah, that was the month before everything was about to go down.
Find a way to use this? Give it your all!
I shall educate you.
August, the Hoenn VA month. Oh boy, was this a month. Though before that, we did get a pretty significant UI update on the sync pair menu, which is pretty huge, but yeah, now you could do like multiple upgrades and everything is all in one menu, so it's much easier and stuff. Anyways, yeah, they dropped the Hoenn VA, which was pretty crazy. They had Singsu Mei and Mega Blaziken, along with the much, anticipated since the 2.5 year anniversary with anime, Singsu Brendan Latios, which was exactly what Anniversary Mei needed to be completely out of this world good. Singsu Mei, first of all, finally getting Blaziken is a fantastic treat, but also an incredible unit. She had similar speed and physical defense debuffs like Dojo Glory, but also has max team crit buffs for damage healer, which by the way, incredible damage healer and nuker as well. She also has team speed buffs, a lot of sync move countdown, just unbelievable unit all around, and massive damage heal that gets slotted into almost any physical team. Singsu Brendan, on the other hand, is just a crazy special attack buffer who also debuffs special defense by 2 every hit, and guarantees free move next every time when you get hit at Mega. Also, low-key, a pretty good psychic DPS as well. Yeah, easily one of the top supports in the game, too. We got the Zinnia EX too, which was cool, I guess. The outfit certainly was awesome, and then we also got 2 spotlights for the Hoenn VA, one being Courtney and Mega Camera, which is surprising considering we haven't gotten any admins from villain arcs yet, but yeah, really nice ground zone center that debuffs physical defense, which is great since almost all ground type damage deals in this game are physical. Plus she's Hoenn too, so she has the master passive with Maxi on top of all that. Solid DPS and nuker herself. Looker is finally playable, though he's a bit bad, I guess. Only like really usable in Poison Weak stages, which you could definitely help beat. But overall, even in Poison Weak stages, not a great damage healer, sadly, as a damage healer. This month was also the month where we got the Hoenn Champion Stadium, which thankfully DNA did remember that my boy Wallace is actually a champion, so look at that. Anyways, this is a very hard Champion Stadium cycle as well. A lot of opponents having stuff like Sentry Entry ×2, Wise Entry ×2, and stages setting weather and zone and all that. Very tough, definitely a huge jump in difficulty since the Alola and like Unova Champion Stadiums from last year. In the second half of this month, we got the, second half of Villain Arc with arguably one of the best units in the game as well. Singsu Steven and Deoxys, who can transform into all 4 different forms. Each one very, very, very powerful, with attack being an AoE nuker, but with tech nuke numbers. Normal has Psychic Terrain, solid damage, and really good flinches. Defense probably the weakest of the 4, but still a solid support and insane tank. Then you got Speed, which is just broken. Speed is just broken, man. Unreal unit. It's like you got 4 incredibly powerful units in one, and man's not even like a Master, he's just a Pokefair. Also, we finally got our first Master Fair rerun with Groudon and Kyogre, which many anticipated a power boost, but no, it's just the OGs. But they're still really, really good units, even over a year later, man. They even got, they got even better as well. We got the Zinnia power boost too, with the long-awaited Mega Rayquaza. She sadly didn't get much in terms of grid boost, but she did finally get a Dragon Ascent, which is a really, really nice free-to-play flying type damage healing option, along with the Mega Stats and a few new passives. And we had a special event free unit where they gave us a really nice free-to-play support in Giovanni and Persian that can crit buff and buff both offenses. And yeah, that was a crazy month before the 3rd year anniversary. That wasn't even the actual anniversary yet, though. It really did seem like one. Okay, here we go, the 3rd year anniversary in Pokemon Masters EX, and here we were first teased the Trainer Lodge feature, which is a fantastic feature where players can interact with certain trainers and get new stories along with rewards with them, including a brand new sync pair with each sync pair you reach level 100 friendship with, and there were 9 characters at launch, so that's 9 free-to-play units right off the bat. Well, free-to-play if you have, like, the original unit, but but yeah, they added one each month later on as well, and this introduced the level 150 level cap using these Trainer Lodge rewards, We had the new Expedition mode, which is a really fun AFK farming mode to get you even more rewards, where you could also, build teams to try to maximize reward farming. So yeah, quite the nice update there. We also had a few new BP sync pairs with MC Mesprit, Needle Landorus as the 5 stars, and quite a few 4-star BP units as well. So that was neat, more free units. Then we got new further grid expansions for units, starting with Cynthia here, who had a crazy good grid expansion, which fixed one of her biggest issues, which was her sync damage, right? Then there it was, man, the trailer where they finally revealed the 3-year anniversary sync pairs. After a bit of a teaser earlier in the Pokemon Presents, we got to see the entire thing and finally confirmed that Ash Ketchum from Palentine, now retired anime protag, was coming to Masters and Playable. We had Ash and Pikachu, Singsuit Thunderbolt Red, and G-Max Pikachu, along with Singsuit Aura, Cynthia, and Mega Lucario, all 3 of them coming with an entirely new mechanic called B-Moves. Ash was a straight-up damage dealer with a B-Move that does the most damage in the game for a regular move based on how many move gauges you had. Thunderbolt Red was an electric terrain setting and extending tech unit that had a B-Move that hit all opponents with no AoE drop-off. And Aura Cynthia was a fighting zone setting support, who also was the top tank in the game, with a B move that buffs physical and special move up next by 2 for the entire team. Move gauge refresh and use it twice, so that's like +4, which is crazy. Also, all 3 of them had Master Fair passives corresponding to, well, whichever region they were from, but yeah, y'all know how strong they are. No need for me to mention it further. After that, in the second half, they did a special costume event with Rosa, who, being basically the actual protag of the game, never got anything really since the first few months the game came out, but SE Rosa and Sky Shaman is just really, really nice, man. She's like kind of a mini Dojo Gloria / Singsuit Mei before special, and it was this whole sightseeing event where they also had an NPC unit for the first time ever, where I'd be playable and free Naomi, a pretty decent ground striker. She even had a JP, Twitter account where she posted pics and stuff about her trip to Basio. Very adorable, very cool. Free units. I like that.
It'd be nice if I could just lie in the grass.
So after the anniversary, as usual, we get a bit of a down-ish month. Also, November is usually the month where they try some likely unpopular stuff. This year, they did 5-5 and 5-5 grid for Poke Fairs, which is very cringe. At least I think they are. If you like them, that's fine, I guess. But yeah, this month we were introduced to the next meta, sorta, called rebuffs, and they're kind of like zone for each type, but as a debuff applied to the opponent. Any opponent with a rebuff applied to them will be weaker to that type, basically, and we got units for that. Singsu Wally was the first one, though we missed him a bit in the Hoenn VA arc. He did very quickly turn that one around with a very, very nice Singsu paired with the shiny Mega Gardevoir that had a B move that can apply AoE Fairy type rebuff and also debuff opponents' special attack and physical attack, which pairs very well with many damage dealers in the Fairy type that can make use of these kind of multipliers. He's also our first Fairy Zone setter, one of the last zones yet to be in the game. Though not a great DPS unit, he does make up for it with being an incredible nuker. And again, just very fitting for a lot of the best Fairy type damage dealers in the game. Diantha, Palentine Serena, and such. We also got our first monthly updated lodge unit, this time being Raihan, who's a solid little free-to-play support. And he also got his grid further expanded with the 4-5-5-5 stuff, which he did actually get some good expansion stuff there, to be honest. After that, we got a Galar event featuring Victor, Gordy, and Melanie, and with that, the final protag outstanding at least from the main games, barring Legends Arceus, or Let's Go, I suppose, is in the game. Victor came with a G-Max Rillaboom, was Grass-type DPS with an AoE max move, which is really, really, really nice. Then you have Gordy and Colossal, this is the second ever rebuff unit, rebuffing 4 fire types, and Melanie with G-Max Lapras, who is a defensive support that can spam Sing and set barriers on its max move. Both mother and son, really nice additions to the general Spotlight, scout pool as well. For Halloween this year, we got Iris, Naganadel, and Alistair, Gorgeist, both really nice seasonals as well, especially Alistair. Kind of underrated in my opinion. Alistair's a great special support that can tank physical moves and also gives Ghost rebuff. Iris, on the other hand, is our Poison Zone unit. Works okay with most poison units, but maybe not that well with Singsu Giovanni, the best one. But she makes up with it for some really solid personal damage herself. Kind of like a Witch.com version of Lucas. That was October. Kind of downish rest month.
What is the topic of today's speech, you ask? Why, Pokemon Liberation, of course. For Pokemon Liberation and world domination.
Next up, we're back in the hype train with the Unova villain arc, this time headlined by Singsuit Hilda and Hilbert. We also got Elisa as a new Lodge unit with a nice little free-to-play support too. And got a 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5 expansion, with giving some very, very much needed self-buffs and a bit of extra damage. So, Singsu, Hilda, and Victini. Crazy good fire DPS. Really one of the top strikers in the game. And it got Singsu Hilbert, who doesn't have as good DPS, but makes up for it with having Techno Blast, being able to change it to 5 different types, and giving rebuffs for each one of those types as well, which is pretty crazy. So these two definitely highlight this villain arc overall. Just two incredibly powerful units that do great things for their games, like rebuffs and special defense debuff for Hilbert. And for Hilda, well, just obliterating the opponent really fast, which, hey, you know, that helps the team too, doesn't it? So we also got another spotlight, kind of like how they did in Hoenn, this time being Hugh and Ocelot. Hugh is the closest we have to like a real normal type damage dealer, if only his kit wasn't, you know, such, I mean, not in like the, oh, bad, he sucks wave. He's a solid, you know, really nice striker. Always off type, you know, nukes, flinches, some good DPS. The kid is just very funny, man. Getsus also got an EX here, which is nice being attacked to get that extra tech EX nuker buff. It's not great, but it's free, I guess, so we have to take that.
Oh my.
No.
No way!
Let's do this.
In part 2 of the villain arc, they revealed Singsuit N and Black Huron, which unfortunately is probably the most controversial unit this year. Actually, I don't know, it's either him or Cynthia, but yeah, at least we can all, you know, hopefully all agree he has a pretty kick-ass outfit, right? Without litigating the reasons why a lot of community thinks he kind of sucks for villain arc folks here, this has been, you know, that's been talked about ad nauseum. He definitely has some upsides, right? Not a great mass mode unit, but definitely a very, very, very nice gauntlet unit due to how gauge friendly he can be. Which again, despite his mediocre damage or whatever, having almost a free gauge unit in gauntlet is pretty massive. After that, we got another spotlight to go with Hugh. Colorus is almost a pure tech, which outside of Eggmons you don't really see too often nowadays. Tech not also doing bucks of damage, but he does have a decent steel type nuke, so he's not completely damageless, but still, solid general pool addition that can paralyze, buff team crit, debuff, you know, defense, accuracy, and being a solid gauge unit. Also, you can tank a bit, which is cool. Getsus also got his power boost, which helped him be less annoying to use, with move gauge refresh 9 on his Glaciate, which definitely helps a lot, considering it's such a slow 4 gauge move unit, and the extra self buff stuff. But yeah, nothing too groundbreaking here, sadly. So to end this month off, we got a kind of out of nowhere, though it makes sense because it's EV Day, a tripled featured banner with 3 evolutions in Lyran Vaporeon, Luxin Flareon, and Crescent Jolteon. This was an odd one because the units are on a limited banner, but they're also not new characters or with new alt outfits, and for some reason don't have EXs. The units themselves, however, are very, very good. All of them have infinite weather or terrain on sync, good nuke, status, and stat debuffs, team buffs, solid DPS, and team protection and weather, which really underrated unit in terms of their kits, but yeah, just a really weird situation overall, which, you know, kind of ruins the 3 otherwise very, very powerful units. We also got Lysander grid further expansion this month, which gave him some nice tanking stuff, as well as some very much needed damage buffs, since his main issue is kind of his damage being not that great for a striker, so that was neat as well. This month, the free expansion was OG Chris, and boy is she crazy powerful right now. She got plus 40 attack for free and more nuke nodes. Really nice for a launch unit.
Let's do this!
Alright, last but not least, December. We started off this year with a bang, and boy do we end this year off with a bang too. The big reveal in December was that we got 2 new Master Fair units, completely new concepts called Neo Champions, which basically is taking the pro tags of the region and giving them a champion outfit and making them the champions of the Neo Champion Stadium, which is very cool. And we probably will be seeing other characters in the future get this Neo Champion treatment too, which is very hype. So Calum, who finally got an ult, got a shiny Greninja, and Serena got a regular one, both incredibly powerful. Calum is the Master Fair support that buffs offenses, gives physical special move up next, and can set Rain or Dark Zone on his B move, which is pretty crazy depending on what type he is. Serena, on the other hand, is a tech damage healer and debuffer that can do just so much damage with her No Quarter, Water Shuriken, defense and other debuffs, Dark or Water rebuffs on her B move as well, Flinch, nuke. She could do so much, man.
Our future is shining bright!
Then we got the 2022 holiday units, this year being full Johto after last year's full Galar? With Jasmine and Mega Ampharos plus Whitney and Sawsbuck. Jasmine and Anthe is such a nice throwback, man. Really happy they finally did that with her. The story was great too. Also a fantastic defensive support that could give you super effective up next, physical special move up next with her potions, and crit support as well. Whitney could set all 3 different terrains and has a legit normal type nuke with Horn Leech that can make her a legit tank in specific, scenarios, as well as some flinches too, which helps. This month we got Singsu Leaf and Marnie crit expansion. Both are alright, with some, more nuke damage for Singsu Leaf and some extra self-sufficiency and tech stuff for Marnie. Free expansion was for Fantina, who got a fantastic nuke upgrade. To end everything off, they also reran the 2nd anniversary Master Fairs, which have been a bit outdated, sadly, but I mean, they're still really good units, plus they have cool outfits, so if anyone missed out and really wanted them, that was a really nice opportunity to pick them up. Anyways, that was a recap of Pokemon Masters EX in its 3rd year, a pretty momentous year, and probably the most significant year they had since launch. I mean, dropping Ash in game is definitely a feat, right? They must have really tried super hard getting him, the rights for that character to appear in the game as a collab with the anime, as Ash has rarely ever been in games before. Not everything was sunshine and rainbows like the 4 out of 5 grid and stuff, but a brand new mode in Gauntlet, right? 4 new villain arcs, zone rebuffs, which for the meta is massive, right? To balance out the types. Like last year was cool and all, Groudon, Kyogre were super strong, but that really made, the 4 or 5 types that had weather, terrain, and Hoenn with their crazy master passives, super strong, but they tried to balance a lot out of that with the zone and rebuff this year. Though it's not fully done yet, but we've gotten almost all the zones and, quite a few rebuffs as well. Lodge was a massive update, and I really like the new stuff they tried on social media campaigns like the Zygarde Cell and Magikarp patching events, so overall, just a lot of really nice stuff that we got this year. So I'd say year 3 Pokemon Masters EX in 2022 was pretty much a success, and very excited to see what they have coming up this next upcoming year, right? What are they going to do after zones? What are they going to do after rebuffs? And what's in it for, future Neo Champion characters? Can we end the villain arc this year? Can we get Paldea characters coming to the game as well, right? A lot of things to look forward to that could potentially happen in the game. And yeah, great stuff, folks. So anyways, that's me with this one. I hope you all generally guys think of the comments down below. Like and enjoyed the videos from our channel for more Pokemon content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.